Hello everyone, today I'm going to share with you guys an unexpected event of my life. But before getting into the video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting and engrossing real couple stories. Meet me. This is Liam Sek. I'm 27 years old man. Currently I'm working as a supervisor of sales department in the well-known company of town. Tracing back to last year when something really awkward happened to me. I got married to my wife who used to be my coworker in the office in 2017. Our marriage life is really going good. My wife used to be a very responsible and caring woman. We kept working in the same company where we first met. Everything was perfectly all right. Our physical relationship was also really good. In fact, soon we go to baby boy as well. Our professional life is going really good. But one day my wife was having some complications with the hour, so soon she left the job from that company and joined another place as a receptionist. One night when it was about 12 a.m. of the night, my wife did not reach the house. Even her off timings were 8. Amy was really worried about her because even I kept calling her, but she did not pick. As soon as my wife reached the house, she did not even give answer to my greetings. I remember she seemed really tired and she threw her bag and slept on the bed. I remember our son was also waiting for his mom, but my wife did not even look at her. My wife's attitude was beyond my understanding. Like she had never showed this kind of behavior before the same night when I was sleeping. Meanwhile, I got my eyes open in order to quench my thirst. Meanwhile, I caught a sight on my wife who was busy in mobile phone. To be honest, I had never seen her so much occupying in the mobile phone before. I was really worried about her. I was thinking that someone may be asking my wife. I even asked my wife that time to whom she was talking at this dark hour of night. I remember when she realized that I was watching her when she was using the mobile phone. My wife was literally like a fish out of water and gave me an excuse that she was wishing birthday to one of her friend. I really did not consider the matter and cuddled her. My wife's attitude was changing day by day. Like she started ignoring me and our son. She remained outside of the house most of the time. She even started occupying her weekends as well. I remember it was a Saturday's night as usual. I used to be very excited for the weekend and often used to plan outings. But this time, my wife really disappointed me. She did not even reach house that day from her workplace when I asked her where she was and why she was not coming to the house. My wife replied that she was at one of her friends who was insisting her to have a sleepover and have a girl stay out. I remember I really talked rudely to my wife that day as our son was continuously crying and asking for her mama. Well, to be honest, the way she was neglecting our baby boy was not acceptable. In fact, on Sunday, he reached the house at night. I remember someone dropped her in a very luxurious car. When I asked my wife, his car was that, she replied that it was her friend's cousin who dropped her. I wanted to have dinner along with my wife. So I ordered her favorite food, but this was really disappointing that she did not eat anything, as if she was totally full. She was just giving us the fake smile and was continuously looking at her phone just like she was waiting for someone's call. I remember as soon as her phone call began to ring, she literally ran away to another room. She kept talking to the person on the call for hours. When she reached the room, she seemed really confused and then began to say me that she was planning a trip next weekend with her friends. I made her crystal clear that if she really wanted to go somewhere at a good place, and then she'd go with us. I really tried my best to explain her that our baby was depriving of motherhood. I was expecting my wife to cancel the plan with her friends. In fact, will opt us. But she did something unexpected. I remember she began to yell at me that I wanted her as a prison. She was so angry with me that she did not even talk to me for the next 2 days. She was really not stubborn before. She even used to prefer her family rather than outsiders, as I had never seen her before along with friends. I remember it was a Saturday night when my wife reached house very late along with a lot of expensive gifts. When I asked her from where she got all these expensive stuff, she replied that her friend had gifted her. Well, to be honest, I started considering my wife lesbian because I often saw her in a video call having a FaceTime with someone. Whenever I used to ask my wife to whom she was having a FaceTime like this, her answer was always the same, that she was alone with her friend who was missing her. My wife's activities were literally out of control. One day when my wife is preparing herself at front of the mirror for her workplace, I asked my wife to invite her friends to who she spent her time for the dinner at our house. After listening to me, once my wife seemed confused later, she said me, "All right. Well, I really wanted to meet her, that friend, at night when she came along with her friend, to whom she used to be swam." I was literally confused for once, but I really did not find any close bonding among them. Even her friend was really comfortable with my wife. Like if my wife forced her to act like her friend. I remember she really did not even know about that expensive gifts my wife once took in our house by saying that her friend gave her. It was the main thing to notice that her friend literally stayed 2 hours in our house. I realized that it is not the lesbian thing because I literally got no clue. My wife's activities were popping up in my mind and I was trying to be with the reality. Meanwhile, my wife's phone began to ring. I remember as soon as phone started ringing, she hardly woke up and then looked here and there. I pretended like I was sleeping because I wanted to hear her conversation and call. I remember she went outside of the room and stood in the gallery. I silently followed her and began to hear her conversation. I was shocked to hear that my wife was discussing something related to divorce and separation. After hearing her conversation, I was literally restless. The next morning when I woke up, I decided to ask my wife about that to whom divorce she was discussing last night. When I asked my wife about the divorce, firstly, she was literally like confused and then began to blame me that I suspected her, as according to her, one of her friends was discussing divorce matters with her. Well, I was literally tired of her lies because from the last night conversation, it was crystal clear that she was actually talking about our separation. My wife's activities were literally ruining my mental peace. I decided to chase her in order to know the actual matter. The next morning when I woke up as usual, my wife was standing at front of her mirror and was preparing herself. I remember our son was crying back, but she did not even look at him. Instead, she hurriedly took her back and moved to her workplace. I asked her so many times to leave her job as I was really irritated from her job hours. But she never listened to me. I remember I used to drop my wife in the initial days of her job. But later one day she told me that she would go by her own as a coworker used to make fun of her that she couldn't drive. Well, this time, I intended to catch her red-handed to kept following her. I was shocked to see her reached outside of the guy clinic instead of her workplace. She literally spent about 1 hour inside the clinic. I got more curious about her activities and kept following her. Finally, she took out her reports from the car and went inside her workplace. I kept waiting for her. And finally, when it was about 5 p.m., I was shocked to see my wife coming outside along with the mature men. I remember he seemed really rich and money. I was shocked to see my wife sitting in the same luxurious car which once dropped her at our house, and my wife lied that it was her friend's cousin's car. I kept following them and was shocked to see stopped at the same gyne clinic. After spending about 15 minutes, they finally stopped at a hotel, disappointed on my wife's infidelity. Literally, I hadn't no words that time. I kept following her in shock as he entered in a separate room of the hotel. Like, where did the couples stay? I really wanted to know about the man to whom my wife was dating. After my great research in stalking on Facebook, I finally came to know that to whom my wife was dating was her own boss. He must have supported her financially. To be honest, I was literally furious on my wife's act of infidelity. But instead of reacting or creating panic, I wanted to give her a lifetime lesson. To be honest, It seemed like I had seen her boss before in my life, but I was unable to identify his face. I really wanted to know about the clinic's matter. Well, I went to the clinic in order to know about the matter. But obviously administration had not revealed anything. I asked the nurse who was stealing my wife's matter to give my wife's report. She was really greedy as she got agreed with me when I offered her good money. The next night, I was desperately waiting to read my wife's report. I really did not give her a single clue that I already knew her dating along with her boss that night was really heartbreaking, as the way my son was crying for her mom was not bearable for me. My wife was continuously chatting on the mobile and was having AirPods in her ears. She was even not taking interest in our son. I really wanted to know what made her changed like this, because she was totally chained and seemed like she was hypnotized by her boss. The next morning, I hurriedly went to the clinic in order to know the actual matter. The nurse told me that my wife used to come along with the man who always asked her for baby's abortion. But my wife used to cry and decline every time. She further told me that she often heard the conversation. That person always used to insist my wife to divorce me and abort the baby till he will definitely marry her and give her everything she wanted to have. After hearing nurse words, my feet froze, but I was damn sure that it was my baby in her room to whom her boss wanted to abort. Well, I asked the nurse to give me some fake reports which declared like if my wife had aborted the baby. I offered her more money and then she did the same. As soon as I reached the house, I started looking my wife's cupboard, but her cupboard was locked. It was about 12 a.m. of the night when my wife reached the house and seemed really tired. I already knew the password of my wife's phone as I saw her entering her password when she was giving phone to our son who was crying badly. Well, with great wisdom, I finally took my wife's phone and took some pictures of that fake report of abortion and sent to her boss. After receiving my messages, he kept calling on her mobile phone, but obviously I couldn't attend the call. Meanwhile, my wife woke up and was shocked to see her mobile phone in my hands. She was literally like a fish out of water and was sweating badly. I rudely said my wife that I already knew about her affair with her boss. I asked her to do messaging along with me as I wanted to know why he was doing like this. Her boss sent a message that was really shocking. I remember he laughed badly and replied, "My wife, you poor honey." I finally succeeded. I did, in ruining my enemy's house. Who used to be my close friend. Once one day when your husband dropped you in the office, I was really excited as I wanted to play the same with his wife. Like once he was playing with me, the way he made my first love in college fixed because he was rich. I did the same. I worked hard to take money because I used to be bullied in college time for being bookborn, having no girlfriend. He succeeded in trapping his wife because of my fake love and money. I will send that abortion paper to your husband and made him clear that the way he once snatched my first love from me. Today, I succeeded in snatching his wife and baby. Go away, lady, you're slut. If you wasn't loyal towards your son and husband, how could you be loyal to me after reading his messages? I finally remember that he used to be my college fellow. I remember my wife was literally yelling and crying badly. My wife told me that she was 3 months pregnant of my baby. I remember she was begging me and apologized to me, our son, for being disloyal and irresponsible. I remember she hugged me from my backside and said that I saved her baby's life by sending that fake report to her boss. She told me that she had been physically activated with her boss. Just for one time. I asked her to get out of my house. I did not divorce her. She is at friend's house. She's going to deliver a baby within 2 months. What I did to my college fellow who was taking revenge was not intentionally. I remember his girlfriend herself approached me. I don't know what to do. Please do. Suggest me something good.